sales are going well. A lot of people are really loving it. Like I said, it's super fucking cool that we're able to do this, to pull it off. I told you last week that me and Charles and Hank kind of cooked this idea up before we mentioned it to Greg. And since I've talked about Charles some and some of the charities and Hank last week, I figure I would talk about Greg, the illustrious, the powerful, Mr. Gregory Todd Moore Gherkenstein, whatever, I don't know. Greg's been a friend of mine. We met in church. He taught me how to make an origami bird to impress the ladies. It's never worked. Anyway, Greg's really the reason that I ever did music. Not the main reason I always wanted to, but he really gave me a shot for no unknown reason. I don't know. He made a phone call and said, "Hey, dude, you want to play some songs? You want to write some songs for us?" Sure. I'd never written a song before. Barely could play guitar. But we weren't going to do it if Greg wasn't on board. And I talked to Greg about it, and really, we finished 2 songs, $60 and Red Caboose, I do believe. So all that was on there, and I emailed him to Greg, and then I called him about 2 seconds after I emailed him, because I knew if he heard him, he'd probably go, "Oh, dude, this isn't me anymore. I'm not angry and pissed off at the universe." But he loved them, and I talked to him on the phone. I said, "Dude, you're doing this. You have to. We've been friends for, I don't know, going on 5,000 years, and how cool would it be if we could pull this off?" And, it's for a good cause, as if some of you don't know, it's for BAC, the Brain Injury Alliance of Kentucky, it's for the Wounded Warriors Project, and it's for the Drake Center in Cincinnati, who helps people with spinal cord injuries. They're the ones that help Charles. But to be in the studio again with Greg was awesome. Greg is a supreme talent who is uniquely talented in just about anything he touches. He's one of those guys. It just comes natural to him. But he puts in a lot of work, and he's a very smart dude. And, and all this, it took all 4 of us, and it took an incredible amount of work on Charles's part, and finding the backers, and, relearning songs. A lot of us, we all put in a lot of hard work, even Jay. But Greg really ties it all together, and he always has. There's very, I know a lot of musicians, and I know a lot of people that are good at a lot of things, but Greg has always been, to me, just one of those guys that, you can't get a good read on him. He's out of the blue, he's spontaneous, but he's very calculated at the same time. And it's always a pleasure to work with him. It's always a pleasure to perform with him. I think we have more fun getting ready to play or working on background stuff than the performance or the recording part, just because he always makes it so fun. And even when he used to piss me off all the time because I'm all anal and it's got to be like this, and, it's got to be, we got to be there on time, we need to leave now. He always had a way of really pissing me off, but still getting his point across where it made sense, even though I didn't want to admit it. But as much as I love Rocky and Greg and Charles and Hank, Greg, we have a long friendship, and I think the thing that makes Dark 30 tick is the 4 of us. But I think the heart and soul of it has always been Greg. Always has been. So sometimes I need to kick the fires inside of him to get him to be the more, to create the morgasm, as our friend Mark Sloan used to say. But Greg really worked his ass off on this, and I hope you dig it. Until next week, later.